For all the shocks that have happened across college football this weekend, the American Conference didn't give a hoot. They played their game, and possibly only this two games, which is UTSA, Temple, Florida, Rice. They played what you would expect. Which the Rice Florida Atlantic, okay, no big deal. It actually neither one of them were that big of a deal. It just little bit of difference that will show out during the year, but this conference has shown what they have. I thought that Air Force Navy was going to be a shootout, and it was 34-31. Now, I will say this much. I thought UAB would give a little bit more fight when it came to Army, but they didn't. Charlotte actually did far better than I thought they would. Either that showing that South Florida's got a weaker defense than I thought, and the numbers showed, or Tim Albin's finally getting Charlotte going the way that he wants it to start going. Still don't think that they're going to be doing that good this year, but so we're going to do a power conference, and also Memphis, what they did to Tulsa. Hey, not surprised there either. So we're going to take a look at these teams. We're going to give you a power rankings. We're going to start at 14, go down to 1. Not many people give a hoot about AAC. I do. It's got my Navy team in it. I have a love for South Florida because Alex Golesh. Hey, I can talk Memphis and Tulane football. I can talk UAB. I can talk all these schools. So I thought, why not start showing people that there is some strength in this conference? So hit like and subscribe if you love you some college football. Hit like and subscribe if you like college sports because I don't get into recruiting and transfer portals. I cover some basketball, but I also cover a lot of women's college gymnastics when that time comes around because, well, it's unheralded and people need to know about it. So hit like and subscribe, and here we go.
Hey folks, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. I want to thank you for viewing my video, and I want to give you one thought process. There was a famous coach at the University of Tennessee by the name of General Robert Neyland. He had 6 maxims, but number 2 maxim is what everybody should apply to their life. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That's how to live your life right there.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Charlotte. When they were up against South Florida, Zach Wilkie, I mean, 14 of 18, you can't complain about that. But it's only 150 yards through the air, but still. Um, but rushing, they were only 130 yards. No, you know, 2 touchdowns from Wilkie. Him and his QB2 both got an interception, so 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions through the air. What are you going to do? They only got the 1 touchdown on the ground. CJ Stokes got that 13 carries, 54 yards, long of 21. Gerald Cobb, I mean, showed out some. So Zach Wilkie carried a little bit. I mean, they weren't doing that good. Uh, Derek Ellie and EJ Mason got the touchdowns on the ground, but I mean, through the air, sorry, on receiving, but they just weren't. Eh. I mean, total 149 yards. Pardon me. It was 149 yards, 130 yards. So you're looking at 279 yards total offense. Not amazing. This is why they're number 14. I know Tim Albin should be able to do a lot more. CJ Stokes recovered a fumble, but he also lost a fumble. And Javen Nichols lost a fumble. Dwight Boodle and Caleb Curtin recovered 2 fumbles. On defense, they got 3 tackles for loss, no sacks, 2 pass deflections. This was not a good defense in this game. Even though they did get 116 tackles, got to give them that. They did get 2 interceptions, Jacarius Conley and Caden Schmitz. I guess he gave us Schmitz this game. Sorry, bad joke. Kick return 15 and 14. They had 29 yards total on kick returns. Punt returns, Javen Nichols had 14 yarder. Liam Boyd had a field goal. And Bronson Long had 6 for 267. This was not what you would, wasn't that. And plus penalties, they were 11 penalties for 81 yards. That is not a good look. This was an undisciplined team. I know. Tim Albin has to be wanting to change that. So, yeah, number 14, the Charlotte 49ers. Number 13, I have UAB. I know that ESPN has Tulsa, but I think that UAB is a worse team. Jalen Kitna, who in my opinion should be one of the, if he had a better team, would be a far better quarterback. He was 24-42, 259 yards through the air, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Rushing, Javon Jackson, 12 for 89, 30-yard long. The only one that actually got a rushing touchdown was Ryder Burton, 1 touchdown for 1 yard. They had 103 on the ground, 259 through the air. 362 yards total offense against Army. Now, mind you, this isn't a dig at Army. It's just simple fact of that they should have been able to get better. But that only one rushing touchdown. You've got Javon Jackson had 89 yards. He had a long at 30. You're telling me you couldn't get into the end zone? Through the air, Xavier Daisy got the only touchdown. He had 7 for 50. I mean, heck, Iverson Hooks had 4 receptions with the long of 71. I mean, with the long of 47 with 71 yards and no touchdown. They just couldn't get into thing. But Solomon Bede also got a fumble. On defense, Calvin Pitcher had 10 total tackles. They had horrible tackling. They had 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. No joke. Got no interceptions. Solomon Beebe got 89 yards, along at 28. Isaiah Jacobs got a 16-yarder on kick return, punt return. Caleb Brown got a 5-yard punt return. Jonah DeLonge missed both field goals. No joke. Both field goals. Kicking game, horrible. They were 11 for 73 yards on penalties. 11 penalties, 73 yards. That's going to hurt you. Especially against one of the academies. But what are you going to do? It's UAB. Number 12, Tulsa. In all honesty, Tulsa and UAB could swap places, and it probably wouldn't make that big of a difference. Kirk Francis was 20 of 34, 175 yards through the air, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Now, mind you, they're going up against Memphis, so you got to take that into account. Dominic Richardson, no, he had 14 carries, no touchdowns on the ground whatsoever. They had 71 yards on the ground. You can't do that. Long as 16, they weren't able to get an explosive play on the ground. Micah Tease got the only touchdown. He had a long of 34 yards, 2 catches, 57 yards total. That long at 34. I mean, at least they got the 1 touchdown. Fumbles, A.J. Allen fumbled, Jacob Emmers fumbled, Kirk Francis fumbled. So 3 fumbles for them. They got 2 sacks. They got 4 tackles for losses, 1 pass deflection. Hey, they at least got sacks. Um, got more tackles for losses, and yeah. Tulsa interceptions. Elijah Green got 2 interceptions. Nothing from it, but he got at least 2 interceptions. Kick returners, Jacob Emmers got along at 20. Braylon Presley had along at 25. Now, mind you, they both had, or Jacob Emmers had 3 catches, or 3 kick whatevers. Seth Morgan, their kicker, 0 for 1 on field goals. They just couldn't get it done. They couldn't get started. 175 through the air, 71 on the ground. 246 yards total offense. I mean, it was against Memphis. Hey, can't slam them. It was against Memphis. Uh, but at least they were disciplined. I will give them this. They were. They had 1 penalty for 5 yards. They were disciplined. I will give them that. That was the only good thing that came out of this game for Tulsa. Okay, the Rice Owls. Them trying to look like an academy team is, I don't know. I don't know why they're doing the whole triple option, but they are. Um, Chase Jenkins, 12 of 17, 137 yards through the air, 1 touchdown. No interceptions though. That's a good thing. Got a slightly better QBR ranking than a lot of the others that I've talked about. Quentin Jackson, 19 carries, 128 yards, long as 68, got a touchdown. Chase Jenkins, hey, 8 rushes, 20 yards, 1 touchdown, long as 9. So 2 on the ground, and Drayden Dickman had 4 catches, 61 yards, long of 46, 1 touchdown. So 3 touchdowns, 350 yards total offense. So yeah, against FAU, yeah, 350 total yards of offense. They had Ty Morris recovered a fumble. They didn't fumble. Their tackling was not good. They had 6 tackles for losses, no sacks, and 4 pass deflections. Uh, Peyton Stevenson got an interception. Quentin Jackson did a kick return for 23 yards. Punt return was Tyson Thompson, -2 yards. Kicking, Enoch Goda got 3 point after attempts, but he missed on a field goal. I mean, they just, they there was not a lot to talk about. I mean, they were better than, Tulsa, UAB, and Charlotte. Uh, they were kind of disciplined. 4 penalties, 54 yards. You know, only getting 4 penalties, that's a good thing. This week they couldn't do anything. They start out the season good and then they just can't do anything. Jenkins did his best. You know, Jackson did his best. It just they couldn't get anything moving. Now Army is probably going to move up if they keep going like they did this game. You know, Helms came in 1 of 3, 41 yards, no touchdowns through the air, no interceptions. So, but he did rush 21 times for 81 yards, got 3 touchdowns. Hayden Reed got a touchdown, so that's 4 touchdowns. That's not bad at all. So UAB was at least able to shut down their pass game. Not like they had much one to begin with, but yeah, the only person that actually received anything was Samari Howard. 2 receptions, 48 yards, long of 41. Fumbles, they fumbled once, Lloyd Benson, and recovered one, Anderson Britton. They were able to sack Kitten one time. They got 2 tackles for losses, 4 pass deflections. Gavin Shields got an interception, ran for 21. Lloyd Benson did a kick return for 20. Jaden Mays didn't get he got a return, but he didn't go anywhere with it. Lloyd Benson also got the punt return, -2 yards. Dawson Jones kicked. He got his field goal, and I mean he did what he needed to do. It's not pretty, but at the same time, it was UAB. Looks like they didn't have to work very hard. Even though UAB had been doing pretty good up to till now to scoring, they just, yeah. I mean, Army is what Army is. I'm still going to always say, go Navy, beat Army. But, Army is having a down year. You look at them, I've already got beat by North Texas, East Carolina. Ooh, they beat K-State. K-State looks like they're turning themselves back around. And they beat UAB. And they lost to Tarleton State. So, yeah, they are where they are. Okay, the FAU Owls, who have beaten Florida A&M and Rice. Um, it's them beating Rice moved them up a little bit. I won't lie about that. Them beating Rice was, it was a hootenanny. Had Rice and Florida Atlantic Owls fighting each other. Caden Bellcamp was 290 yards through the air, had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. None of their rushers got a touchdown. That's a weakness that they need to fix. Assad Wasim, 3 carries, 89 yards, got a touchdown on a 40 and had a 44-yard long run. Michael Kirch, 4 for 82, got 2 touchdowns, had a 41-yard long run. So, I mean, they were doing what they needed to do. 3 touchdowns through the air. This 27-21. Easton Messer fumbled and lost it. They had 1 sack on Rice. They had 8 tackles for losses. That helps. 4 pass deflections. Easton Messer got a 3-yard run on a kick return and had 3 punt returns, long at 36, had total 43 yards there. Garrison Smith got both of the field goals that he needed to get, along with 3 extra points. So he combined for 9 points there. It's, Florida Atlantic did what they needed to do. They've not been a flashy team. They were 6 for 55. They were they weren't as disciplined as they needed to be. That probably needs to be fixed, but not horrible. Tackles, Hart was the leading tackler with 10. Brantley had a sack in there. Messer, 110 yards on it through from 11 receptions. So basically 10 yards per every time he caught the ball. Terrell had 20 carries for 69 yards, but that was it. Bellcamp, 3 TDs, 1 interception, 23-33. It was just enough to beat Rice. So I think that they are where they need to be at. At number 8 is the UTSA Roadrunners. Now, UTSA got into a slight shootout with Texas A&M. They got into a shootout with Texas State, but they lost both those games. They beat Incarnate Word 48-20. They beat in a defensive battle Colorado State at Colorado State 17-16. And now they've lost to Temple 27-21. Now they went to Philadelphia for this game. Owen McCown, 25 of 37, 234 yards through the air. He threw 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 interceptions. Rushing, Patrick Overmeyer had 2 carries, had 1 yard, had 1 touchdown. That was it. That was their. I mean, they had 70 yards on the run game, but Devin McCune, 6 carries, 60 yards, long at 18, had a touchdown. Patrick Overmeyer had one catch, 7 yards, one touchdown. So Patrick Overmeyer was doing the best that he could. No fumbles, at least. They got 2 sacks on Evan Simon. They got 6 tackles for losses, 4 pass deflections. Will Henderson returned a kick for 16 yards, no punt returns. Michael Petro was put nowhere to kick a field goal, but he did kick all 3 of his extra points that he was put there for. Cale Hogan, 5 for 179 on punting. You're looking at 9 for 83. They were killing themselves when it came to penalties. 9 penalties, 83 yards. That's not a good thing. They had 2 turnovers, and they couldn't force a turnover on. They couldn't force Temple to turn over the ball. This was a lackluster effort that was undisciplined. This is, they've done a little bit better than the others that are on here, but not by much. I mean, their first real challenge in the conference and they lost it. That is what it is. Now, number 7 is Temple, and in all honesty, they need to play better competition. I think that they're going to rise from the looks of this. They beat UMass 42-10 at UMass. I mean, it's UMass. They beat Howard 55-7. It's Howard. It's an FCS team. They lost to Oklahoma and they lost to Georgia Tech. Slight shootout against Georgia Tech. Didn't really put up a lot of fight against Oklahoma. And now they have beaten UTSA, which they only had 6 penalties, 49 yards. That's somewhat disciplined. They had to come back. They were down 14-3 at the half. They came back in the third quarter and scored 21 points. So, yeah, this was a amazing effort. Evan Simon, 16-25, 181 yards through the air, threw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Their ground game had 128 yards. Hunter Smith had a touchdown on the ground. He had 8 carries, 74 yards long at 54. Peter Clark caught a touchdown. He was 4 for 82 yards, long at 36. And Jojo Bermudez, 2 catches, 9 yards, 1 touchdown, long at 8 yards. So they were doing what they needed to do. Jojo Bermudez did fumble once. Didn't lose it, but still fumbled it. They had 3 sacks against McCown, 5 tackles for losses, so 1 better sack and 1 less tackle for loss. But they had 6 pass deflections, which I guess that came in handy. Jamari Jones and Avery Powell both caught interceptions. Jamari Jones actually returned it 12 yards. Tyler Stewart did 2 kick returns, long at 23. The other one was 21 yards, so that's not bad at all. Kicking, Carl Harden got both the field goals that he was putting up there for. Dante Atten had 6 punts, 253 yards with a 52-yard long punt. They did what they needed to do. I mean, this is a team that they're somewhat disciplined. They've got a offense that is clicking when it needs to click. Could have been a little bit more exciting. They didn't get a lot of yards on offense against better teams. That could really hurt them, but they do what they have to do. I'm keeping East Carolina at 6. They didn't play this week. Caton Hauser's, he's got 1,509 yards. 68.3 completion rate, 123 of 180. Thrown 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Only been sacked 4 times, which is a good thing. London Montgomery's got 51 carries, 209 yards. I mean, total offense, they've got 8 touchdowns through the air. Only got the 4 interceptions. Only got the 4 sacks that's gone through their line. London Montgomery's got a long at 33, 2 touchdowns. Parker Jenkins got 2 touchdowns. Marlon Gunn's got 2 touchdowns. TJ Engelman and Mike Wright, Caden Hauser's all got 1 touchdown. Pardon me, no, Caden Hauser's got 2 touchdowns on the ground. Dewan Lacey, Kyler Pearson both have touchdowns. I mean, this is a 12 touchdowns on the ground, 8 through the air. They're doing what they need to do. They've got some of their players that can really do breakouts. They can get some exciting plays. On defense, they've got 12 total sacks for the year, 16 pass deflections, 3 interceptions, 7 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries. So they got a good defense. And I mean, penalty wise, they've been penalized 39 times for 311 yards, so 62 yards per game. They need to be a little bit more disciplined. That takes them down, but they didn't play this week, so that's why they're staying around 6. Now, number 5 is Navy. They did what they had to do against Air Force. Air Force has a heck of an offense. Now they had to develop it, but looking at this, let's just take a look at penalties. They had 8 penalties, 49 yards. They probably could have done a little bit better there. Um, Blake Horvath, 20 of 26, 339 yards through the air, which is actually a little surprising for him. 3 touchdown passes. Blake Horvath ran one in. I saw that one. It was a pretty good one. 17 carries, 130 yards. Eli Heidenreich got all 3 of the receptions from passes. He had a long of 80. Blake Horvath had a long of 59. Eli Heidenreich was 8 catches, 243 yards, 178 yards on the ground. This was a little bit different of a game scheme. Newberry knew that Air Force would be ready for them to just rush it, so he switched it up this game. Blake Horvath did fumble twice. He did lose one, but Landon Robinson also recovered a fumble. They had 2 sacks on Liam Zerka. They 6 tackles for losses, 1 pass deflection, no interceptions. They got kick returns. Isaiah Bryant had a 43-yard long run on one of his kick returns, 5 for 97 yards. What he had. Liam Barbie had 1 for nothing. Nathan Kirkwood got both his field goals and all 4 of his extra point attempts. They were a little bit more in discipline than you would expect for them to be. I mean, Alex Teska didn't get in there as much as you would thought he would have gotten into. Eli Heidenreich did what he needed to do this game. I mean, 80-yard long run. What do you expect? 3 touchdowns. Blake Horvath did what he needed to do. Brandon Chapman didn't get as much as but I mean, Blake Horvath and Eli Heidenreich, when Alex Teska couldn't show up, Eli Heidenreich and Blake Horvath did. I mean, that's the beauty of this offense. They've got weapons everywhere you look. And on defense, they did far better than I thought they would do. It was a pretty good game. It really was. So that's Navy. Number 4 is North Texas. They got a week off. Drew Mestemaker is 106 of 156 for 1,247 yards. He's thrown 11 touchdowns, only been sacked 5 times, so it's is what it is for the team. Pretty good offensive line compared to who they've played. They've got 28 of 237 when it comes to penalties, so 47 yards they're averaging per game, so they're fairly disciplined. You're looking at this. They beat Lamar, Western Michigan, Washington State, Army in overtime, and South Alabama. Mackenzie McGill's got 318 yards on the ground, 4 touchdowns. Caleb Hawkins has got 307 on the ground, but he's got 7 touchdowns. Not really explosive on the ground. Wyatt Young's their most explosive wide receiver. He's got 13 catches, 215 yards, three touchdowns. Miles Coleman's a little weird. He's got 23 catches, 219 yards, 28-yard long run, but no touchdowns. Cameron Dorner has got two touchdowns. I mean, they've got 18 on the ground, 11 through the air. So they're fairly balanced. They know what they're doing. Defense, they've got 10 sacks. Could be a little bit better. But they're still winning. Eight pass deflections, six interceptions, though. Four forced fumbles, five fumble recoveries. Their defense might be a little weaker than that might be a problem later on down, but their offense is more than making up for what their defense lacks. I mean, North Texas, they're being off and everything, don't need to be raised or dropped, but they're a pretty good team still. Okay, for my number three team, 1 through 3 did not change. At the same time, when you hear this, it does not mean that there is that much in the way of separation. Seriously. 1 through 3 could be interchanged and it wouldn't make a difference. That's how good 1 through 3 are. But Memphis is still number 3 on my list only because of who they have played. I am not saying that they are better or worse than the top two teams. I am saying that they are better than the bottom 4 through 14 teams. Okay? Don't I'm had a Memphis fan that I appreciate, and let me tell you, go Tigers. I like Tigers. I like Ron Silverfield. Uh, they have done a really good job. They just beat Tulsa 45-7. That was a good game. Uh, three touchdowns in the second quarter, one in the first quarter, 10 points in the third, seven in the fourth quarter. This is not a bad team. They deserve, all the accolades. And yes, I do believe that they deserve to be ranked. Brendan Lewis, 22 of 30 in this game, 266 yards through the air, three touchdowns. Unfortunately, he did get two interceptions. That needs to be fixed up a little bit. Brendan Lewis rushed for a touchdown, had 14 carries, 67 yards. Sutton Smith had a touchdown on the ground. Frank Peasant had a touchdown on the ground. So three touchdowns on the ground. Cortez Braum had a touchdown. Greg DeRosius had a touchdown when it came through the air. And so did Matt Adcock, sorry. So three touchdowns on the ground, three touchdowns through the air. Amazing. Greg DeRosius had a fumble, and Mon Cole recovered a fumble. They had no sacks, but they did have 7 tackles for losses and 6 pass deflections against Tulsa. I'm a little surprised at the no sacks. Interceptions, Kamari Wilson, Chris Bracey, and Samuel Israel. All three had interceptions. Kamari Wilson returned his for 15. Sutton Smith returned a kick for 14 yards. He also returned a punt for nothing. Gianni Spetic, I probably butchered that man's last name. But he had a field goal. He also had all 6 of his extra points, so he did what he needed to do. This is a good team. Penalty wise, they were very disciplined. This was a very disciplined game anyway. Either that or the refs were sleeping. They only had 4 penalties for 45 yards. Not bad. It's Memphis. They're a good team. They should be ranked. What else can you say about them? Tulane did not play this weekend. They've got a hard one up ahead. They got East Carolina, but East Carolina's coming to them. They just beat Tulsa 31-14. That could drop them to that could show that they're worse than Memphis, but it could also show they just got tired after They had just played at Ole Miss 40, and lost 45-10. That was one heck of a battle. If you didn't see that game, you missed a good one. They beat Duke 34-27. They went to South Alabama, beat them 33-31. They went to Northwestern, and Northwestern disrespected them, so they beat them 23-3. Uh, you're looking at this team, they're 40 penalties, 376 yards, 75 yards per game. They could be a lot more disciplined. Jake Retzlaff, 68 of 125, 820 yards through the air. Got 2 touchdowns, been sacked 5 times. Brendan Sullivan's got a touchdown, but also got an interception. So they got 3 touchdowns through the air. They're a ground and pound team. They got 12 touchdowns on the ground. Jake Retzlaff's got 7 of them. So they're having to rely on Jake Retzlaff. If Retzlaff goes down, this team is going to go way down. I like Brendan Sullivan's not that bad of a quarterback, but they are relying way too much on Retzlaff. Javon Gordon is the second leading rusher, 50 for 235, 3 touchdowns. Zabari Mobley's got 2 touchdowns, 27 carries, 136 yards. Jake Retzlaff's got a 69-yard long run, though. Zabari Mobley's got 28. Through the air, Zaz Preston, let me tell you something. 63-yard long run, but no touchdowns. Anthony Brown Stevens has got a touchdown. Justin Reed's got a touchdown. Johnny Pazguzzi has got a touchdown. They've got to get their wide receivers in the game a little bit better. These guys are not scoring. Even with the 63-yard long run, Shaz Preston does not have a touchdown. And 13 carries, 202 yards. Amari Hayes got 18 carries, 254 yards, no touchdown. Come on, guys. What you doing? Defense got 11 sacks. Not, could be a lot better. 23 pass deflections, though. 6 interceptions. They ain't letting you have an air. They're not going to let you pass the ball without them answering it. 3 forced fumbles, 5 fumble recoveries. They're needing to be a lot more disciplined, but this team is working as a unit. Got a few weaknesses, but it's Tulane. John Summerall's got a good team going. Now, number 1 team, and the reason I'm saying this, yes, they have a loss, but it was against Miami. You saw what Miami's done so far this year. Miami's undefeated. South Florida beat Boise convincingly. Okay, it was at home. Then they went to the swamp and beat Florida. Saw what Florida just did to Texas. Florida's waking up. DJ Lagway was sleeping. South Florida hit them at the right time. They beat South Carolina State better than Lenore Sellers, South Carolina did. They just beat Charlotte 54-26. This is when they were playing Charlotte, you're talking, they scored 3 touchdowns. They had 23 in the first quarter, 21 in the fourth quarter. They knew what they needed to do. Penalties, they were 7 for 60. So pretty, Alex Golesh has got some discipline put in these guys. Byron Brown, 19 of 34, 211 yards, 4 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So 2 interceptions, a little worrying. I always worry when they start throwing the interceptions, but Byron Brown also rushed in for a touchdown, 17 carries, 162 yards. Another team that if their quarterback goes down, Gaston Moore, I like Gaston Moore. He grew up in this kind of offense that Alex Golesh is doing, but I don't think Gaston Moore is half the quarterback that Byron Brown is. Nakahi Davenport's got a touchdown. And Cartavius Norton got a touchdown. Jeremiah Kroger on the receiving end. So 3 touchdowns on the ground, 4 through the air. Jeremiah Kroger, Chaz Nimrod. Let me tell you something. I love me some Chaz Nimrod. I think that Nico Iamaleava is the reason he's not still at Tennessee, and I am mad at Nico just for that one alone. Mudia Rubin got a touchdown, and Evan Dangler got a touchdown. Chaz, but Jeremiah Kroger had a long run at 38 yards. Byron Brown had a long at 31. I mean, this was South Florida. Byron Brown did fumble, so did Alvin Isaac and Mudia Rubin. At the same time, Ben Knox and Jalen Stokes both recovered fumbles. They had one sack on Charlotte. They had 4 tackles for losses and 1 pass deflection. Their defense needs to be a little bit better. I'm going to say that. Jarvis Lee and DJ Harris both caught a touchdown. Jarvis Lee returned his for 26, and DJ Harris returned his for 7. Neither one got a touchdown, though. Alvin Isaac returned a kick for 17 yards. Joshua Porter returned 2 punts. Only one of them did he get any yardage, which was 13. Kicking, Nico Grammatica got a field goal and got 7 extra point afters. It is what it is. I mean, this is a good team. They've got good players. Hey, I'm still mad Chaz Nimrod's still not at Tennessee, but I like Chaz Nimrod. I'm also still mad that Alex Golesh is still not at Tennessee, but, that is what that is. It's and looking at everything on it, other than possibly Memphis has got a better defense, and that's about it. I honestly think that looking at all the numbers, I think this is the best offense. I mean, yeah, other than the fact that they you know, did get a little embarrassed by Miami, good team. But then again, though, you take a look at the quality of talent between the two teams. That's the only difference. But Byron Brown, Chaz Nimrod, so many others are talented. So that's the number 1 team. Now, by the way, I enjoyed my discussions on South Florida or on this my last week's power rankings. I happen to love me some AAC football. I do. So if you love you some AAC football, I am glad that y'all are paying attention to this. Scotty King, hey, I like me some Memphis fans. Let me tell you, I know how fervent you folks are. I'm from East Tennessee. I know some Memphis fans in East Tennessee. Memphis fans are underrated. They really are. Y'all have a community that is one hell of a community. But let's just say this: South Florida, Tulane, and Memphis, all 3 of them should be ranked. All 3 of them deserve to say they're number 1 in the conference. They do. All three of them have played hands down as 3 of the best teams in the nation. Them not being ranked is idiotic. North Texas and Navy, I think they're underrated, but I don't think that they should be ranked. East Carolina, in all honesty, I don't know what you're going to get with East Carolina. Temple, UTSA, FAU, and Army. You don't know what you're going to get with them, but they're good, solid teams. Rice, Tulsa, UAB, and Charlotte. I don't know if they can get to a bowl game. Right now, I'm not sure if Army can get to a bowl game. FAU is skating that line. Them losing to FIU is why I don't think that they will, but they could make some surprises. But UTSA Temple, I think they're going to a bowl game. I think East Carolina is. Well, no, I know East Carolina. East Carolina, Navy, North Texas, they're going to a bowl game. Just depends on what bowl game they're going to. Uh, Memphis, Tulane, and South Florida, they're competing for a spot in the college football playoffs. I am getting tired. I don't know how many of y'all listen to the Group of Five guys. I like listening to them, but they cheerlead for the Mountain West way too much. They do. They need to be paying attention to the AAC. I think everybody should be paying attention to the AAC. Tulane, Memphis, and South Florida, all three should be competing for a spot in the college football playoff this year. Now, there are actually some people that think that Navy should be competing for a spot in the college football playoff. The only reason I don't think that they will is because their defense is just eh. They're Newberry is a defensive guy, and I don't think he got the players to put up a good defense this year. North Texas, I will tell you something. North Texas is a team to watch out for. South Florida is fixing to play North Texas. Watch that game. That is next week on ESPN2, 7:30 p.m. game. That is a game that will tell you a lot about this conference. No joke. It is a game that is going to tell you a lot about this conference. But seriously, we've got several bowl contenders. Charlotte, I think by next year will be a much better team and will probably be competing for a bowl bid. But UAB, I don't know what to say about UAB. Fighting Dilfers are not Charlotte this year, but Trent Dilfer, I honestly, I don't know. Tulsa's rebuilding. Tulsa has shown that they will be competitive next year. Rice, Rice should be far better. They've got. I don't know where to go on Rice. I like Rice, and I'm not talking about the food. But if you give a hoot, watch some AAU football. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.
I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good day now.